Welcome to the 707, a weekly half-hour program produced by KRCB, a service of NorCal Public Media. The 707 features voices and stories from your community, stories that tap into the weird and wonderful, and stories that show how we are connected to each other. I'm your host, Michelle Marques, and our journey today is happening via SofA, or rather, a whole bunch of sofas.
It's a very casual atmosphere. It's supposed to be kind of goofy, it doesn't have to be anything that makes sense or really seems like it would appear in a different parade. If you want to, last year there was one rolling with the gnomies, didn't they just had gnomes on their sofa? It can just be a random, if you're into something, just make a sofa about it. It's kind of my feeling.
That's Jim Mackin, who has participated in every WinterBlast SofA parade since it started over 20 years ago in Santa Rosa's South of A district. One of the funniest designs was inspired by a cult-like character from the sitcom Three's Company.
Come and knock on our door.
Come and knock on our door.
We cut out the silhouette of Helen Roper and then printed just on our home printer, we printed in poster mode Helen Roper head. And then my brother had found some random hands and feet. They had different color nail polish. So my kid had to go into Photoshop and change the nail polish of the one hand versus the other.
So he was doing a manicure for these big giant hands?
Manicure. Well, we got these two pictures, but they obviously don't match.
And then you had all these people who were dressed as Mrs. Roper.
Yeah. Apparently, it's kind of a thing.
Mackin has transformed well over 50 different sofas for the annual Arts Festival over the years, and he has important advice for those who want to make their own entry.
You need wheels that are at least 4 inches in diameter, and the set of wheels need to be able to handle, 1,000 pounds. So you need pretty good wheels, because even if you just get a few people on a sofa, it's hundreds of pounds, and then the road isn't perfectly flat. So anyways, good wheels.
So how did all this SofA parade silliness begin? Join me for a chat with the event organizer in her backyard in Southwest Santa Rosa. I'm actually sitting in a sofa for our conversation.
Spring Maxfield, and I'm the director of Santa Rosa Urban Arts Partnership.
And what role does Santa Rosa Urban Arts Partnership play in WinterBlast?
Well, for the last 4 years, we have been the producers of the event. Now, the event has been going, I believe this will be the 21st year annually. And we stepped in 4 years ago to just kind of give it some more structure, make it more sustainable. I think all the people who'd been throwing it was always chaotic, and nobody really knew how many people were going to volunteer, and it was really stressful for everybody. And now we have a little bit more structure. We still have all the great community participation, but there's some sustainability to it that wasn't there before.
So what is WinterBlast?
WinterBlast is the funnest, silliest, most irreverent little street parade that it's just chaotic. It's so fun. It was started in, I think, 2004 by the artists in the kind of arts district, SofA district, which is kind of an acronym for South of A Street near Juilliard Park, Santa Rosa. And the artists were kind of making fun of the name, and they brought their studio couches and sofas out from their studios and started pushing them down the street on dollies and caster wheels. And it just grew from there into one of the most beloved nighttime, irreverent, wacky, whimsical parade. And people from all over the county bring their sofas decorated wildly, get themed costumes, lighted lanterns, all kinds of fun stuff. We've got marching bands. It's just chaotic and fun, and there's really no rules, and it's just really fun for the community to come together and be weird.
So can you describe some of the entries? Tell me some of the different ways that people have decorated a Davenport.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so we had a beautiful vintage blue love seat a couple years ago that had a giant peacock tail that lit up with radiating LED lights and a peacock head and a beautiful costumed riders. While it was getting pushed down the street, we've had a purple sofa decorated like Prince, like one of his famous outfits. We've had a sofa decorated like a forest gnome home with a cadre of probably 20 people in gnome outfits with, giant puffy dandelions and mushrooms. And there's been illuminated puppets. We had one last year that was just this gorgeous, graceful deer that was held by 12 people. I mean, every theme you could think of there's been a sofa for it. I think last year we had like 70 sofas. It was just crazy.
Wow. And this all happens on how many blocks?
One block. Many times the parade is longer than the parade route, and it just becomes kind of a giant standing procession that's not really going anywhere, but it's so fun, and more people are in the parade than are watching it most of the time. The first parade is at 5:00, and it starts at the intersection of Sonoma Avenue and South A, and it proceeds south on South A Street to Sebastopol Avenue, where it turns left and ends pretty abruptly right there. And then at 7:00, maybe the first parade is finally ended and people turn around and go back up to Sonoma Avenue. And in between, there are performances by the Imaginists. There's performances by the Hubbub Club, by the Marimba Band from Luther Burbank Elementary School, which is just phenomenal. And then during all the free time, in between those things, there is the greatest disco dance party at the intersection of South A Street and Sebastopol Avenue.
Wow. So all of these different performers and do you have to book them in advance? Do they know they need to come to SofA? Like how does that work?
People reach out to us throughout the year, and we kind of take all that information and try to schedule it into something cohesive so that we don't have too much sound overlap, and that there's something during all times of the event for people to get engaged with. And of course, we'll have vendors. I think we have over 20, maybe even more than that, craft vendors. We'll have about 10 food trucks and food vendors of amazing stuff. And then, between 3 and 5, there's over 28 art studios in that district. And many of them will be open to the public, so people have an opportunity to step inside art studios, meet artists, look at the process, look at that space, and just kind of get a feel for that creative community there. And then, of course, there's the local restaurants and coffee shops. There'll be a couple of different venues who have their own music happening at the same time. I know Cafe Frida always hires a band, as does the Peace and Justice Center. So, yeah, you can get a beer or wine with us and meander over there, walk around, see all the crafters. There'll be a magician. There'll be circus performers.
Do you encourage people to participate by either dressing up in winter finest or lights or things like that?
Absolutely. So this event does take place after the time change. It is going to be really dark. It is in the wintertime, and it is outside. So definitely bundle up. Last year was actually really mild weather. It was beautiful. We have no guarantees what this year is going to be like, and this event happens rain or shine. I mean, it is always fun to dress up in your craziest outfits. This is a time for letting loose and being weird in good company. Definitely lighted costumes are encouraged. Anything glowing is great. We do have a lantern making booth, and people are encouraged to come and get crafty and decorate a lantern, and you can carry that around. We'll have lights for you to put inside. We definitely encourage all forms of creative participation.
I notice on your social media for WinterBlast that you tend to post strange, magical, fantastical ideas from all over the world. Where do you find this inspiration? It's amazing.
The algorithm has found me. I definitely have done searches for lantern parades or costume parades, unique traditional costume ceremonies. And, just, of course, the algorithm picks up on that, and I get I opened up the WinterBlast Instagram page and it is flooded with the most inspirational imagery. And so I really try to share that with everybody through the stories, just to, hey, here's a great idea. I hope somebody takes me up on this. And hey, look at this amazing costume and look at these puppets. And so I really like it. For me too, I'm just so inspired by it. And we have an opportunity here in Santa Rosa to create one of the best winter nighttime lighted lantern, SofA pushing, creative parade, processional art things ever. And I want to do that.
That's great. What have you seen lately on your social media that has just really wowed you?
Oh, there was these, I guess they're kind of like puppets. They're horse heads on sticks that are illuminated from the inside, and then instead of bodies there's just this like ethereal flowing white fabric that just picks up the light from the lanterns inside the heads, and the way they move and the music that they're put to, it is just so awe-inspiring and ethereal, and I just love it, and I would love to see something like that happen in our parade.
In the next segment of the 707, we'll join a WinterBlast workshop where the community is making their own lanterns. This free celebration is happening in Santa Rosa's SofA district on Saturday, November 15th. This is KRCB.
KRCB is Sonoma County's NPR station, featuring the voices, sounds, and culture that make our home unique. From the heartwarming tales of postcards,
our grandmother was the founder of Juneteenth in Sonoma County,
to the Arts Briefs series shining a spotlight on the incredible youth in the arts scene.
Mariachi can express everything that you feel.
And farm tales.
We live in this beautiful area that allows all forms of success in agriculture.
Your stories, your station. KRCB 104.9, Sonoma County's NPR station.
Welcome back to the 707 on KRCB. I'm your host, Michelle Marques. The WinterBlast annual SofA Parade and Arts Festival requires a lot of love and silliness to come together on November 15th. On a Sunday at the beginning of this month, I went to a lantern-making workshop at the Arlene Francis Center in Santa Rosa's Railroad Square to see preparations firsthand. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm Michelle Marques from KRCB, our NPR station. How are you? What's your name?
My name is Leah.
Leah, what are you doing?
I am here making lantern in a lantern making workshop.
Can you describe what you're doing, what tasks you're doing right now?
So I have the reeds and I'm cutting them. I'm going to make a star armature, and they're teaching us how to put them together and then cover them in paper, and then you can add fairy lights to it. I know, and in this gorgeous building.
Have you ever made a lantern before?
Never. My first time.
Are you going to use this at WinterBlast?
Yes.
So you've got a star. Can you give us a clue at all about what your SofA or your thing is?
Usually I'm part of the Taco Tuesday bike group, so I'll incorporate it some way into either the bicycle or whatever our SofA theme is this year.
After chatting with Leah, I run into Ash Hay, who is busy helping people at tables where lanterns are in various stages of construction. Ash tells me about the arts and crafts events that will be happening at WinterBlast.
We're going to have Jumbo Exquisite Corpse, which is a really fun drawing game invented by the Dadists. And then we're going to have a blind contour station, which is basically like a vanity, and you can do blind contouring yourself or face-to-face with a friend. And then we're going to have a few bouts of Pictionary telephone, so you can sign up to come back and play Pictionary telephone with your family, with your friends, with new people you meet.
And tell me about the workshop today.
We are going to be making lanterns with the idea that you can bring them and participate in the light parade at WinterBlast, or if you just want to make a lantern, we've got a few patterns available for like a star and a circle, but you can also make these organic shapes. This is our second workshop. We had one a few weeks ago, and last week people were being so creative. I can't wait to see what people make today, but we had a strawberry and the big rainbow sphere, and yeah, it's really cool seeing what people put together.
What kind of materials do you have to use for a lantern?
Today we have a lot of reed to make the armatures for the lanterns. Then we're covering them with different kinds of translucent paper. We've got some yellow, some white translucent paper. The paper is affixed to the armature with glue, And then once all the glue sets on the shapes, we're going to coat it again in a final layer of Mod Podge or glue that gives it a little stability and makes it shiny and it tightens up all the loose bits of paper. You can add color to that sort of last bit and decorate it also with tissue paper, things like that. Then we put a little light inside. We have the LED lights here, and we put it on some string, and we put it on we have some sticks from the ground that we went on and found. We bought some really nice pieces of bamboo, whatever your flavor is. And then, you've got a beautiful lantern on a stick. This is the one I started last week, sort of going for like a twin Q-tip scenario.
So how long does the process take to make something like this?
So it can take a short or as long as you want. If you wanted to make the shortest lantern possible today, we actually have some pre-made lanterns. You could pick that up, throw a light in there, decorate it, put it on a stick, have a lantern ready to go in less than an hour. You could finish one in the workshop today in a couple hours just because it takes a little time for the glue to dry, and we're not trying to rush anybody, and you want to, back up. Oh, I want to change it a little bit, so you can do that. Or, we've got people coming today that were at last week's workshop. You can take some time on it, depending on what you want to do.
How big are these lanterns typically?
I would say the general shape that we're making today is like between football to basketball sized. You could go bigger, totally go bigger if you wanted. I don't know if we could get like smaller than the grapefruit here. I think once you get too tiny, it's hard. But yeah.
What is the reaction from people who come in and do this?
I think people are having a really good time. Some people are like, wow, I didn't know how hard it was to make a lantern. But that's why we're here. It's really not that hard. You just need someone there to be like, oh no, try this, try that. But I've been really enjoying people sort of like letting their creativity shine. And who doesn't love leaving the workshop with like a fun lantern? You can put in your house, we just had the time change. We need a little warm light to sort of shoo away the winter scary.
Exactly. This lantern making workshop, does it cost anything?
No, it's all donation based. So we were able to get some grant money from the Community Advisory Board to help put this workshop on. So it's all donation based. You don't have to pay anything if you want to come participate.
Anything that we should know, tips that you might give someone who's never been to WinterBlast, like how to enjoy it best?
Come with a comfortable pair of shoes because you're going to go up and down the streets. Bring something fun and light-filled with you. Participate in the parade. Come with an empty belly because there's tons of delicious food. And get ready to engage with the art community. There's going to be tarot readers. There's going to be artists vending. Be ready to express yourself. There's going to be tons of different opportunities to engage with the art on your own. And getting to know the SofA district and seeing the cool parade. And if you like sofas, you're going to see a ton of cool sofas.
Besides the sofas and lanterns, there's also a vendor section at WinterBlast organized by Gloria Rubio.
There is going to be at least 20 art and small business vendors, anything from art prints, jewelry, cards, light up things, as well as there's going to be a sensory regulation station. Riley Street Art Supply is going to have a card making station.
You've vended at this event. What was that experience like for you?
This is one of my favorite events. I wasn't prepared for the amount of creativity and community. I had not attended, actually. I lived in Santa Rosa for 15 years. I'm not originally from Santa Rosa, but I've lived here for 15 years, and I've always wanted to attend, but my full-time job is as a maker, and so every weekend I'm working events selling my creative works. To be able to see the whole shebang, all the sofas were so creative, all the light up stuff. I have a small daughter who was 3 years old at the time, and she just thought it was a fairy Winterland, so that was perfect for me.
That's an apt description of fairy wonderland. That's exactly what it's like.
Yeah, from the lanterns to the stilt walkers to, God, the sofas are so creative. I cannot get over the sofas and the way that people have really transformed these little movable piece of art.
I asked event organizer Spring Maxfield about what WinterBlast means to Santa Rosa as a community.
It's just a really lovely way to come together that's encouraging everyone to be a participant in their community. And when we are participating in our communities, we feel more connected to each other. And when we feel more connected to each other, it's better for our mental health, our physical health, and our general well-being. And we have an incredible city here, and we have incredible creative people here. And I think we get so caught up behind our screens that it's really hard to make that personal connection. And at the nonprofit, at Santa Rosa Urban Arts Partnership, we really want to give people an excuse to make connections, and we do it through the arts and arts programming. And so giving people an opportunity to come out and get creative and get weird and be theatrical is just perfect.
WinterBlast is on Saturday, November 15th, starting at 3 p.m. in Santa Rosa's SofA Arts District. Learn more at srurbanarts.org. I'm your host and producer of this program, Michelle Marques. This show is a service of NorCal Public Media. Our president and CEO is Darren Lachelle.